G'day, Steve Morgan here, ABT. To expand a little bit on something we were going to talk to on the ABT live show last night, but the lighting and audio just didn't really suit getting in close and doing what we wanted to do. So we're going to talk about the 2025 ABT landing net rules. Broadly, our live well conditions are really good. We had Dr. Ben Diggles check them out maybe 20 years ago now, and at that time he said that our next thing we needed to address was fin splitting in fish, especially deep fin splits that go down to the base of the fin are probably one of the biggest factors to post-release mortality of fish. So the more we can reduce fin splitting, the better the fish that we catch in tournaments can survive. So ABT, of course, very interested about this. And now we're doing something about it. One of the ways a fish can split their fins during tournament fishing is during the netting process. It's not the only way, but it's one of the major ways we see a lot of deep splits go into fish's fins. And the way we can reduce that is to have a maximum mesh size. So smaller size mesh means a smaller amount of space that a fin can get into, and then as that fish flips around, the fin split. So that's what we're doing for 2025. We gave you warning all throughout 2024 that this was coming, but 2025 is when the rubber hits the road and you're going to have the right mesh sizes to do stuff. So let's have a little bit of a chat about that. And let me first say that this isn't just a way to get you to buy EnviroNets. Shimano and EnviroNet's good sponsor of ABT, and EnviroNet is the gold standard in fish-friendly nets, thanks to Dave Irvine's great work. A couple of decades ago, he invented the EnviroNet to be good on the fish. But it's not the only net that you're going to be able to use. And in fact, this mesh net here, this looks like a nice fish-friendly rubber mesh net. It's not going to be a Shimano net, not going to be able to use it. The mesh size is actually too big. So firstly, let's show you how to measure a mesh size on a net, at least how we're going to do it for ABT. The way you do it is you get both sides of the mesh, pull it to its widest point, and then measure measure it from there. So that there is how, it's not measured like that, it's measured like that, and that's around a 25mm mesh size, which is going to be too big for bream and bass. Bream and bass is going to be 15mm mesh size, which is going to be a smaller mesh, that big. So this one here, even though it's a Shimano net, even though it looks fish friendly, that one's not going to be good for ABT. The EnviroNet, it's only got a couple of mils mesh size. So that's sort of the gold standard. You're not going to be able to split a tail fin in there, at least not by going through the mesh. This one here is about as close as I could find to a 15mm mesh size. This is a Wilson's net, and these are pretty bad for tangling your lures up. If you're worried about tangling lures, get a really small mesh net or the EnviroNet. But this is probably about the biggest size mesh you're going to be able to use. I use this net for a season. Is bad on the lures, but if it takes you 10 seconds more to get the lure out, bad luck. It's better for the fish. And another net I had around the office here, this is one Nicole used for kayak events. That one there, no worries at all. That's probably only a 3 or a 4mm mesh size on that net there. Now, different mesh sizes for bream and bass, that's 15mm, BARRA, 30mm. So BARRA don't have a convex tail, they've got a concave tail, they've got a convex tail, so they don't have the V-style tail that a bass and a bream does, but still, we've seen some barramundi when they get netted green, they can really tear their tails up in some of the bouncy rubber, big mesh size nets. So 30mm is the size for BARRA, 15mm is the size for the bream and bass. Make sure your nets are right. We should have a few loaners at the events, but we're going to be checking the nets at the start, making sure that your net's right. I assume within a few months it'll all become standard and you're going to enjoy looking after your fish better. So if you're a bit worried about cash, you don't have to buy a brand new net. You can actually get one of your mesh nets. You can take the rivets out, you can pull the mesh off, and you can buy a replacement mesh. And guys like Wilson's sell these for as little as 10 or 20 bucks. So it's not a big investment if you don't want it to be, but it is an investment in the fish's future.